20 spine-chilling gas station horrors revealed disturbing tales from the road that haunt forever. Mia's heart raced as she drove under the vast, vibrant blue skies, fading slowly into dusky orange shadows. Her breaths were quick, the hum of Chicago silenced in the rearview mirror. She was a weary single mother, exhausted by sleepless nights and constant responsibilities, but today, she pushed forward on this summer road trip. Jake, her curious 7-year-old son, squirmed in the back seat, asking questions that filled the car with fleeting comfort. "Mom, look at that cow over there. Can we stop and pet it?" His innocent excitement was infectious, but Mia's mind was preoccupied. Just ahead loomed a dilapidated gas station, a relic that had long surrendered to decay. Flickering neon lights cast unsettling shadows across cracked pavement, swaying like a warning whisper. As she pulled the car up to the pump, a shiver crept down her spine. Mia felt an unsettling stillness. The distant chirping of crickets resonated eerily as though they were mocking her unease. "Stay close, Jake," she instructed, trying to sound calm, but her voice trembled. This was a stop she never wanted to make. While she fueled the tank, Mia's gaze wandered to the entrance. Jake darted inside, drawn by the vibrant colors of the candy aisle like a moth to a flame. Forced down to a smile, Mia permitted it, anxiously fidgeting with her phone as she engaged the overly friendly attendant in small talk about the town's rich history. The man's shabby uniform and toothy grin felt sickly sweet, too cheerful for the haunted atmosphere. When he leaned closer, his breath reeked of stale coffee as his eyes darted to a group of locals loitering nearby, whispering amongst themselves. "Watch yourself, lady," he warned, excitement bubbling in his voice. "This place has its ghosts like the lost travelers." Mia chuckled to brush it off, though panic fluttered in her chest. Local folklore couldn't frighten her. Or so she thought. As she turned to leave, something caught her eye: a missing persons bulletin plastered on the wall, a girl who could be Jake's twin. The chill dread twisted within her. Jake! Time to go. She swallowed hard, her voice tighter than a drawstring. But when she reached for the door, chills descended as her world cracked open. Jake was gone. Jake! Panic surged. She bolted through the aisles, desperately calling for him, feeling a suffocating grip of horror. Rows of cheap toys and sugary snacks became sinister tombs echoing her fears. Detached glances from loitering locals made her skin crawl, their whispers now louder than the clinking of candy wrappers. She stumbled upon jarring clips scattered across the floor: old newspaper stories, tales of families who vanished here, swallowed by the gas station's hungry jaws. The air thickened, fear intermingling with desperation. Then, a rustling sound. Was that Jake? She turned, but instead of a reassuring voice, she sensed the eerie presence of the gas station owners inching closer, their smiles twisting into something darker. Her heart raced, instincts flaring. The aisles felt like a trap as shadows drew in, consuming the last threads of sunlight. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The confrontation escalated, her mind racing as she pieced together the terrifying truth: the gas station wasn't just a pit stop, but a nexus of disappearances fueled by ancient rituals and a twisted sense of community. As the shadows danced towards her, Mia steeled herself against the encroaching darkness. The chilling realization dawned: Jake wasn't just a victim, he was a key piece in a haunting legacy tied to the town's whispered folklore. Would Mia uncover the sinister mystery in time, or would they both vanish beneath the gas station's ghostly grasp? The gas station's flickering lights pulsed like a twisted heartbeat, drowning Mia in a sea of dread. She pivoted, scanning the aisles of forgotten snacks. Jake! Panic twisted her voice into a shriek, louder and more desperate than before. Her heart hammered against her chest, each beat a reminder of the precious time slipping away. Shadows shifted ominously, the locals still whispering in the corners, their eyes glinting with an unsettling mix of curiosity and delight. They were watching her. Watching her search. Watching her worry. She could feel their stares crawling under her skin like insects. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the back of the store. It jolted her into action. Jake! She sprinted toward the noise, her breath quickening. Every step brought her closer to the sound, but deeper into the haunting embrace of the gas station. The unsettling atmosphere thickened, each breath laced with the metallic scent of fear. As she turned a corner, Mia stumbled into a back room. Old crates and dusty shelves filled with forgotten items surrounded her. But there, huddled in the corner, was Jake, his small body trembling. He clutched a dusty toy, a tattered action figure missing an eye. Relief washed over her for a split second, but it was quickly replaced by confusion. Why was he here? Mama! He cried, relief spilling from his eyes. I found it. He held up the toy, his innocent smile a stark contrast to the grim reality around them. What do you mean? Mia knelt beside him, her mind racing. We need to go. Now. Jake's gaze shifted toward the shadowed doorway, where the gas station owners lingered, their expressions now twisted into unsettling masks of insistence. But they said it can take us home. To Chicago. Hot dread coursed through Mia's veins. No, Jake. That's not how this works. Her instinct screamed at her to grab him and run, the chilling aura of the gas station tightening around them. They're nice, Mom. Jake's voice wavered, his trust so misplaced, so innocent. The terrifying realization struck her. They had twisted her son's childlike enthusiasm into a lure of bait to keep them trapped in this horrific nightmare. Jake, listen. Her voice shook as she pulled him close, struggling to maintain control. We gotta get out of here. Now. But the moment lingered, the weight of suffocating darkness pressing down harder. As if in response to her plea, the shadows stretched in unsettling shapes, reaching toward them like ancient talons. Before she could react, a heavy thud echoed from the front of the gas station. Startled, Mia turned to see the entrance doors swinging shut on their own, trapping them in this grasping grip of terror. A loud creak followed, making the floor beneath her shift ominously. Mom? Jake's voice cracked, panic re-emerging. She could feel the heat radiating from him, could see him struggling to hold her gaze in the chaos. Mia's heart dropped as she caught sight of the gas station attendant appearing in the doorway, flanked by the locals whispering with grim anticipation. Didn't you hear? You can't leave yet, you're part of this now. Her skin prickled with fear. What did he mean? Part of what? The walls seemed to close in, the shadows dancing with sinister glee as she backed away, clutching Jake against her. The entity of the gas station pulsed with malevolent intent, thumping through the air like a drumbeat of despair. She had little time. The very air was thickening, weighted by the history of lost souls and broken bodies. If she wanted to survive, if she wanted to save her son, she needed to confront whatever dark force tethered them here, and find a way to break free. Mama, I'm scared. Jake whimpered, pressing closer. In that very heartbeat, Mia knew her world had narrowed to this moment. She could feel the urgency course through her, an instinct firing within her either face the darkness or allow it to engulf them completely. As the twisted smiles of the locals spread, shadows converged around her, whispering promises laced with dread. Would she muster the strength to fight or would her resolve falter, sealing their fate within these haunted walls forever? With fear and determination battling within her, she gritted her teeth and stood taller. They were going to fight. But first, she needed answers. What had the gas station taken from her? And would they ever escape its nightmarish grasp? Part of this? Mia echoed, trying to keep her voice steady, as though she were speaking through an icy fog. She eyed the attendant with suspicion, feeling the shadows pressing in, the whispers rising like a storm brewing just beyond her understanding. Jake squeezed her hand, his little fingers trembling against her skin. Mom, he whispered, wide eyes darting around the room as if trying to catch sight of shadows that danced just out of reach. The smell of old gasoline and something rotting and foul filled her lungs, making her stomach knot. The attendant stepped closer, eyes glinting with a predatory hunger. "You'll understand soon enough," he said, his smile stretching wider, revealing teeth that seemed too long for his face. Each step he took punctured the silence, echoing sharply in the oppressive air. Her heart raced. This wasn't just a gas station, it was a twisted labyrinth of despair. With every shadow that flitted past, she felt the weight of countless souls, perhaps those of lost travelers who had once sought refuge in this very spot. What had they endured before her? "Mom. Can we go home now?" Jake begged, his voice a fragile thread of hope cutting through the despair. She shook her head. "We can't stay here. We can't trust them." A laugh erupted from the shadows behind the attendant, a cruel sound that shifted her skin. The locals shifted restlessly, murmuring among themselves, eyes like bright coals boring into her. Their delight in her fear was palpable, like a sick thrill feeding on her despair. "Time is running out," the attendant crooned, his voice dripping with honeyed malice. This is a special place. It collects, dear Mia. It collects lost things, people, dreams, and all that they hold dear. You should cherish what you have." Mia backed away, attempting to draw Jake with her, but he was rooted to the spot, staring at the attendant as if entranced. "Jake, please," but another crash reverberated from the front, jolting him from his daze. "Mama. They're not nice." He clung to her, his breath coming in quick bursts, mingling with the stale air around them. The shadows surged, swallowing the corners of the room. The gas station felt alive, breathing heavily around them, hungry for something, anything. "We've been waiting for someone like you," the attendant continued, that malicious grin freezing the blood in her veins. "You won't leave until you do something for us." Mia felt the ground shift beneath her. Dread coiled around her heart, squeezing tighter. "Like what?" The smile morphed into something cruel. "Join them. Help us collect what is lost." Jake whimpered softly, eyes wide. "Mom, I don't want to be lost, no." She pulled her son closer, the urgency electrifying her muscles. They needed an escape. "Mama, the toy they wanted," Jake whispered, pointing to the tattered action figure in his hand. "I think it will help." A wave of ice washed over Mia. "But help? What did that mean?" "Tell me what you know, Jake," she urged, shaking with fear. With that, the shadows seemed to hiss as if feeding off her panic. The locals began to chant softly, a discordant melody that stirred the darkness, reverberating through the thick air. Surrounding them, 100 pairs of eyes glistened, the atmosphere thickening with malice. Something dark twisted inside her. What could she surrender? What lost things would they demand of her? "Mom?" Jake's voice cracked, breaking through the thickening dread. The world was closing in again, fear clawing at her throat. "Hold on to me, Jake. Whatever they want, we will resist," she said, trying to steady her resolve. But deep down, she felt the looming shadow of despair draping over them both. A sharp whistle cut through the chant, and every pair of eyes turned toward a singular shadow now stirring in the corner, a shape curling ominously, beckoning them like a siren luring sailors to their doom. With no other choice, Mia clutched Jake tighter, and they edged towards the door. "We need to," but that was all the warning she got. The air crackled around them. The lights flickered violently, and the walls groaned. The situation spiraled as the shadow coalesced into something monstrous, expanding with a dreadful hunger, pulling the very essence of the gas station's darkness into the midst of their escape. She heard the locals chant louder, a sinister finale to a twisted promise. "You're one of us now." Would they be able to escape from this tangled web of despair, or would they be woven into its fabric forever? Mia's breath hitched, panic flooding her veins as the shadow lunged toward them. A howl reverberated through the air, chilling her to the core as shadows unraveled, pulsating like a living organism. The grotesque silhouette morphed, merging flesh with the dampness of despair. The gas station itself seemed to congeal, transforming into a sentient predator. "Mama, we have to go." Jake screamed, tugging desperately at her sleeve, his voice filled with pure terror. Mia's instincts kicked in. She turned abruptly, shifting Jake in front of her, and sprinted toward the door, but as their feet pounded on the concrete floor, it felt as if the shadows themselves were reaching out, trying to drag them back. The locals' chant morphed into a cacophony of laughter, a horrid symphony of delight mingled with her fear. "Help us," echoed in the clammy air, reverberating in her skull, urging her to relent. "Not today," she roared, pushing through the door. The cold wind hit her face like a slap, invigorating yet terrifying, as the outside world met them with an unsettling stillness. But the gas station loomed behind them, its neon lights flickering ominously, as if alive and vengeful. They stumbled into the parking lot, the gravel crunching beneath their feet, almost welcoming them back to reality. But Mia didn't stop. She pulled Jake onward, desperation afire in her chest. "We have to run. Don't look back." As they dashed toward their car, a sudden weight bore down upon her, a darkness that felt tangible, as if invisible hands were grasping at her shoulders, urging her to return. There was a moment of disorientation, the vivid contrast of light and darkness almost overwhelming. Why did it feel like the shadows were laughing, mocking her frantic escape? "Mom?" Jake's voice was a whisper now, fragile, as they reached the car. "Yes, love." She fumbled with the keys, her hands shaking violently. The air around them felt charged, humming with an energy that sent shivers racing up her spine. "I think they don't want us to go," Jake murmured, twisted fingers clutching the toy, still bright despite the oppressive darkness engulfing them. Mia's heart skipped. "What do you mean? They can't keep us here." The panic erupted as she finally unlocked the door. As she shoved Jake into the back seat, she glanced back at the gas station, an instinctive fear slicing through her. The attendant stood at the entrance, grinning wider, his teeth glistening, a predatory wolf surveying its prey. "Just get in, Jake." Her voice sharpened, the urgency shattering the moment as she slid into the driver's seat, slamming the door shut. But the engine wouldn't roar to life. It sputtered weakly, every turn of the key sounding like a sinister laugh echoing in her ears. "Come on, please," she pleaded, panic creeping into her voice. Outside, the locals began to converge slowly, their movements eerie, almost hypnotic, with rhythms that mirrored the shadows creeping behind them. A shiver ran down Mia's spine. They were not just residents, they were guardians of something far darker, the weight of their malice almost tangible. In that moment of dread, something cold slipped through the gap of her window, the stink of decay, oily and bitter. It slid over her fingers like a snake, whispering promises of darkness. "Mommy, it's coming!" Jake shouted, pointing, eyes wide in realization. And then she saw it. That shape, the once familiar darkness, now twisted into an unspeakable creature. Jagged edges, eyes like coal, and a mouth that stretched impossibly wide. "Hold on, Jake. Hold on." The car jolted with her frantic movements. All at once, they were engulfed in the unnatural darkness, the shadows writhing around them, determined to pull them back into their cursed embrace. As despair clawed at her, Mia knew there was only one choice left. She had to turn and face whatever horror lay in wait, but the fear of the unknown clawed harder than the darkness creeping in. With her heart pounding and breath stuttering in her throat, Mia made a choice, desperation igniting a flicker of defiance. Would the shadows claim them, or could they challenge the very darkness that sought to consume their souls? The engine finally roared to life, but as she pressed down on the gas, she wondered, was it already too late? The engine sputtered again but then roared, shaking the car like a fierce temper. Mia's heart raced. She slammed the gas pedal, and the tires screamed as they gripped the gravel and launched them forward. The gas station receded behind them like a nightmare that refused to fade. But as they sped away, something flickered across her rearview mirror, dark figures, their faces twisted in glee. The locals were still gathered like crows, chanting louder now, an echo of malicious joy following them. Every thrum of laughter pierced the silence, vibrating against their car like an oppressive weight. "Mom! They're coming!" Jake's plea heightened her anxiety, and she shot a glance over her shoulder, The gas station wasn't just a physical location, it felt alive, its shadows hunting. With every foot they put between themselves and that cursed place, the darkness chased, relentless. "Hold on!" Mia screamed, gripping the steering wheel as though it was a lifeline. The road stretched before them, a dark ribbon illuminated by their headlights. She willed her focus to stay sharp, the edges of the night sharp and cruel. There had to be a way out, just a mile or two, and they would hit the main road. But just as fear began to recede, a shadow darted in front of the headlights. A deer? No, it was too eerie, too deliberate. The creature melted into the night, leaving her breath shallow, heart pounding in her chest. Then the engine shuddered, sputtering ominously. Mia's heart skipped. No, no. Not now. She pressed her foot down harder, praying. But the sound of a sickening cough echoed beneath the hood. "Mom!" Jake shouted, the tremor in his voice slicing through her mounting panic. "It's coming back. It's behind us." Mia turned her gaze to the rearview mirror again. Shapes were emerging, darkness rolling off them like smoke. They were closing in, moving swiftly, shadows unfurling like dark wings. Not just shadows, figures. Familiar shapes. The locals grinning, their eyes glinting with malevolence. "Focus, Mia. Focus," she murmured to herself, gripping the wheel tighter. But her hands were slick with sweat, the wheel slipping in her grasp. She fought against the mounting despair, the vision of the gas station now behind them growing dim, yet impossibly still present, as if it had left its mark upon the roadway. The dashboard lights flickered. A crackling noise filled the air, drowning out her thoughts. She leaned forward, straining, willing the car to give her one last push. "Come on. Just a little longer." Then, with a loud bang, something slammed into the trunk. The car jerked violently, sending Mia's head spinning, the world warping like a bad dream. What was that? "Mom, they're trying to hurt us!" Jake shrieked, his small voice laced with terror. She didn't need to look back to know something powerful, something inhuman, was trying to pull them apart. Should she stop? Fight? Or keep going, risking it all? "Mom!" "They're chanting!" Jake cried, clutching his toy tighter, as colors of their surroundings caught in the lighted dark, woven tapestry of night. The words were a symphony of dread, a hypnotic plea that threatened to ensnare every part of her. A shock ran through her body as she realized they wanted her to turn back. To surrender. Panic surged anew. With a surge of adrenaline, she jerked the wheel, swerving into the darkness, desperate to escape the invisible shackles dragging at her heart. But in the chaos, she felt a cold breeze sweep against her skin, a whisper, soft and sinister. "You can't run from what you've become." Part of Mia gasped. Was this darkness inside her now? Could they really shift reality by mere presence? With each beat of her heart, the weight of dread compounded, darkness clawing back. Jake's eyes, terrified, searching, pulled her back. What was happening? How far to safety? The road ahead dimmed. "Mom!" Jake screamed again, but the sound twisted, distorted, almost mocking. Suddenly, the headlights flickered as if signaling a consequence. What was coming now? As they raced into the void, Mia felt a choice looming. Could they escape, or were they destined to join the madness behind them? Tension hung thick in the air. The answer shimmered just out of reach, a horrifying truth curling around them. What awaited in the dark was worse than she could ever imagine. The headlights pulsated, framing the twisted road ahead. Mia's pulse quickened. Was it the darkness that made her feel so alive, or the fear that ripped through her chest? Every inch of ground was covered in dread, a suffocating blanket tightening around them. "Mom!" Jake's voice cut through the chaos once more. "Look!" A figure loomed at the edge of the road, just outside the beam of the headlights. It stood stock still, cloaked in shadow. Mia's foot hovered over the brake, but the momentum of panic urged her to keep going. Who or what was waiting for them? The whispers intensified, a low murmur that hinted at wicked intentions, each syllable laced with malice. The engine coughed again, wheezing like a dying man. It was a sound no parent wanted to hear, especially not now. Mia willed it not to betray her, not as the tires screeched over the gravel, the car swaying perilously. "Stay calm, just hang on," she urged Jake, though her mouth felt dry, words sticking to her throat. Out of the corner of her eye, that figure shifted, melting out of the shadows like molasses. She squinted, trying to get a clearer look. There was something wrong. No, everything was wrong. The way the figure moved, graceful yet unnatural, sent a cold tremor down her spine. The chanting from the gas station echoed in her head, luring her to turn back, to confront whatever it was. "Mom, please. Don't stop." Jake whimpered, clutching his little toy as if it could protect him, his eyes wide with terror. "Make it go away." Mia gripped the wheel tighter, the sweat pooling in her palms. They had to get away. Away from that gas station, away from the people, away from whatever they had awakened. But what if it was too late? The wind howled outside, and a deep rumble shook the car. The headlights flickered again, and then fell dark. Silence enveloped them like a thick fog. Mia wrestled with the grip of despair and hope, desperately shaking the wheel to get the car moving again. "Mom!" Jake's scream shattered the stillness, louder and more terrified than she had ever heard. The car lurched and sputtered, then abruptly died a final defiance against the approaching darkness. "Get out!" Mia yelled, thinking it might be their last chance. They could run. The woods loomed close, shrouded in mystery and danger. Without hesitating, she opened the door, pulling Jake by the hand. Together, they bolted into the night, the icy air biting at their skin, their breaths mingling with the panic that chased them. "Where do we go?" Jake gasped, glancing around as fear pinched his small face. The figures from the gas station had seeped into the edges of their vision, shadows lurking at every corner, whispering promises of despair. "Stay close," Mia urged, though she couldn't see where they were heading. The world felt disjointed, twisted by horror. Her heart pounded violently as she could hear the sound of footsteps, soft yet deliberate, getting closer. The woods swallowed them whole, branches slashing at their faces, vines pulling at their feet. The darkness felt palpable now, heavy and suffocating, twisting and curling around them like a serpent. And then a laugh, sharp and high-pitched, cracked through the underbrush. It sent a wave of dread cascading through Mia's body. "They're here." She spun around, scanning for a place to hide. But the figures weren't just shadows anymore. They were real, their faces slowly emerging, eyes glinting like ice in the night. In that moment, the cold realization settled in Mia's gut. The darkness was hunting them, but even more terrifying, it was calling for them to run. She screamed, the command escaping with desperation. But where to run? The woods seemed endless, filled with branches that clawed at her, taunted them, as they ran deeper into the dark abyss. Would they escape the tendrils of the gas station's curse, or was this only the beginning? As they sprinted into the unknown, a shadow flickered behind them, a promise of pursuit waiting to reveal the truth. What was it that was hunting them? An entity, a fate, or something worse? The path ahead remained shrouded, the answer just beyond their reach. Branches cracked underfoot, each sound echoing like a gunshot in the thick silence. Mia's breath quickened, the forest constricting around them, a living thing intent on holding them back. She pulled Jake closer, wrapping her arm around his trembling body. The laughter faded, only to be replaced by frantic whispers that seemed to crawl through the trees, taunting her with their sinister messages. Mom, I don't like it here," Jake whimpered, his voice small, lost amidst the encroaching darkness. "Just keep running, baby," she replied, though the words felt hollow, echoing back at her. The shadows weren't just behind them, they were everywhere, crawling towards them as if the very woods conspired to trap them. Every step felt heavier, as if the ground below conspired to pull them deeper into its grasp. Up ahead, a faint glow flickered through the trees, a flicker of hope. Mia squinted, her heart racing. Could it be the light from the gas station? Was it possible they'd circled back? But the air thrummed with danger, and something inside her warned against going back. The laughter returned, ringing through her skull like a chaotic symphony, mocking her every thought. "Mom, please." Jake squeaked, his voice barely above a whisper, terror painting his features. Mia pivoted towards him, desperation gnawing at her. She couldn't let him see how afraid she was. She forced a smile, though it felt like twisting knives in her gut. "Let us check it out. Maybe there's help." She lied bravely, trying to summon the strength she didn't have. As they moved cautiously toward the light, something shifted in the trees, rustling just beyond sight, branches trembling, swaying, anticipating their next move. Mia's pulse thudded painfully in her ears, each heartbeat a countdown. She led Jake away from the sound, keeping the trembling light in sight, hoping against hope it led to safety. But safety was a distant memory. The whispers intensified, morphing into a cacophony of voices, calling her name, beckoning her to join them. The tone was sweet yet sinister, it twisted her heart and pulled her further into the dark. Jake clutched her hand tightly, his little fingers like ice against her skin. She could feel the panic radiating off him, and it fed her own growing dread. "Mom!" he shouted, his voice cracking with fright. "What do we do?" Before she could answer, the light flared brighter, blinding and unwelcoming. The laughter crescendoed, then abruptly cut off, replaced by a low, rumbling growl. Sweat dripped down Mia's back, the temperature plunging as a chill seeped into her bones, leaving her breath visible in the air. "Mia," the voice slithered through the trees, melodic but filled with an edge of malice. "Join us." Panic swelled within her. She yanked on Jake's arm, urging him to move faster. "Run. Don't look back." She pushed through the underbrush, the branches snapping at her latest flicker of hope, tearing at her clothes, snagging her skin. The air thickened, it felt electric, prickling with something unnatural. Jake stumbled, almost falling as he chased her. "Mom! I can't keep going," she urged fiercely, but a blinding light burst around them, illuminating the clearing. In the center stood a figure, a woman, her eyes glowing ethereal, framed by hair that billowed like smoke. Her smile was wide, teeth gleaming in the eerie light. "You've arrived." The ground trembled beneath them, as the shadows pooled, forming shapes that twisted and flickered. Mia felt a jolt of despair. "We need to get out of here," she cried, but the figure raised a hand, and the light enveloped them, a suffocating embrace, one that promised no escape. "Stay with us." The words wrapped around Mia's heart, squeezing until it felt ready to burst. The shadows moved threateningly, closing the distance, echoing the gas station's sinister call. Just as despair threatened to take hold, a cry sliced through the air, sharp and clear. But it wasn't Jake. Something or someone stood beyond the glowing figure. Mia's heart clenched. What was waiting in the shadows? In that moment of bewildered horror, she faced the awful truth: nothing was safe anymore. But the real question loomed: the deeper they fell into this nightmare, what would they become? As they teetered on the brink of that decision, something shifted again, and an ominous whisper ensnared her mind, promising answers. Just not the ones she wanted. The light pulsed, encasing them in an otherworldly glow, but Mia felt only dread. It felt like 1,000 eyes bore into her soul, taking stock of her fear. The figure stepped closer, her smile widening as she bent down, her haunting gaze fixing on Jake. Mia felt her heart seize. "Stay by my side, honey," she whispered, pulling Jake protectively against her. The figure's voice slithered through the air, dry and seductive. "Join us, little one. So much love awaits." Jake shuddered at the tone, his face scrunching in confusion and fear. "Mom, I don't like her." "No one is going to join you," Mia shouted, her own voice quaking with defiance even as her insides felt like they were collapsing. The laughter returned, swirling around them, echoing off the trees, a chorus of madness that toyed with her sanity. The shadows surged, hungry and agitated. Mia's instincts screamed for her to run. She took a half step back, her feet dredging the soft earth, when the wood beneath her seemed to whisper back. The ground pulsated, as if alive, and the forest groaned in reply. Panic shot through her. "Mom!" Jake pleaded, tugging at her sleeve, and she turned to face the enveloping darkness. "Run!" she cried again, her voice rising above the chaos. They dashed toward the treeline, but the shadows stretched out as if trying to grasp them. The cold air choked Mia's breath, thick and suffocating, each inhalation a struggle against the growing chill. Just beyond the clearing, she glimpsed two more figures emerge, wavering in the unnatural light. Their features twisted and grotesque, their limbs long and spindly, causing a sickening knot in her stomach. They moved with fluid grace, each step deliberate, a grotesque dance of predator and prey. The first figure moved closer, her expression shifting from welcoming to predatory, a sudden feral glint in her eye. "You can't escape. This is where you belong." "No!" Mia screamed, gripping Jake closer. Adrenaline fired through her veins, forcing her to keep moving. Branches snapped sharply as they ran, a cacophony of sound shattering the silence like a gunshot. The laughter grew louder, filling her head, overflowing with glee at the terror pulsing through her. Jake stumbled again, catching his foot on a root, and she dragged him back upright before he could fall. "Keep going," she gasped, shoving blindly through the trees. With every step, the laughter faded, only to be replaced by low murmurs, words she couldn't quite make out but that felt drenched in shadow, slippery and dark. They scraped against her consciousness, threatening to pull her under heavy waters, as Jake's whimpers filled her ears. "Mom, they're coming!" Mia's heart ached. Her legs protested, muscles screaming in protest, but she couldn't stop. They pushed through the underpainted woods, the cool encroaching fog winding around them like constricting vines. The darkness extended, closing in, swallowing the last vestiges of their hope. Suddenly, she spotted a break in the trees. A small glimmer of silver sparkled on the ground, like a beacon. "Look, Jake!" she yelled, pointing towards it. "Over there." They continued toward the spark, though dread entangled her heart with every stride. The figure lingered on the edge of the trees, watching, fingers twitching with anticipation. As they finally reached the glimmer, Mia saw it was a piece of metal, a keychain, mottled and rusted. Familiar. The edges glinted with a sinister promise, as the whispers echoed, "Take it, join us." Her breath caught. This was no ordinary keychain. She recognized it. It was from her father's old truck, the very one she thought lost years ago. "No," she breathed, dawning realization striking. "What did they want with us?" A deep rumbling shook the ground again, the air bristling with charged energy. The shadows twisted and expanded, answering her unspoken fear, and she felt time slow. The figure in front of them smiled wider, a menacing leer that threatened to peel back the very layers of her soul. In that moment, clarity washed over her, a decision that could shift everything. She clutched the keychain tightly. What if it held the way out? But as the shadows nipped at her heels and the laughter escalated into a maniacal roar, Mia knew escape was no longer just a desire, it was a race against destiny. What awaited her on the other side? She cast one last look at Jake, and in his wide, terrified eyes, she saw the reflection of something far more sinister lurking just beyond the veil of light. But could she fight what was still to come? The ground trembled beneath them, a warning that echoed louder than the laughter. Mia tightened her grip on Jake, the keychain a cold weight in her palm, grounding her in a moment that felt suspended in time. Every instinct screamed at her to move, to flee, but the pull of the forest, so alive, so taunting, threatened to cradle her in its dark embrace. "Mom, I can't. I can't breathe." Jake gasped, his tiny frame quaking against her as panic twisted in her stomach. She glanced down at him, his face mottled with fear, his eyes wide with unshed tears. The figures lingered just beyond the trees, shadowy specters casting grotesque shapes that danced in the haze. "We're waiting," they cooed in unison, voices dripping with honeyed malice. The words wrapped around Mia's mind, sinking in like a dagger. "Run!" she urged again, forcing her body to obey. They clawed their way through the knee-high underbrush, the sounds of nature transforming into a terrifying orchestra, scratches, whispers, a symphony of the damned. Each snap of a twig was like a gunshot, announcing their frantic flight each time they stumbled. Behind them, the shadows swelled, engulfing the sounds of their flight. The laughter morphed into a chilling melody, winding through the trees around them as if seeking to ensnare them once more. In the distance, a flicker caught her eye, a light glowing softly in the all-consuming dark. Mia Jake whimpered, tugging her sleeve again. "What if we never get out?" "We will," she promised, though her own heart slammed against her ribs, matching his dread. "Just keep moving." As they charged toward the illumination, she felt as if they were racing toward salvation or doom. The closer they got, the more she realized it was a grotesque imitation of a gas station, dilapidated and abandoned. The flickering neon sign sputtered ominously in the dark, open 24 hours. But it wasn't welcoming, it was a siren luring them into despair. It pulsed like a heartbeat, the bright yellow light promising safety even as it echoed with the same laughter that haunted them. She skidded to a halt, breathless. "What is this place?" "It looks wrong," Jake said, his voice trembling. Mia hesitated. There was an undeniable compulsion drawing her towards the glowing entrance, like a moth to a flame. Something was inside, waiting, and it felt both inevitable and horrific. "Stay close," she whispered, her mind racing. "Just stay right behind me." They stepped onto cracked pavement, the ground beneath them a patchwork of shadows and flickering light. As they approached the door, the chill deepened, dragging at her skin like icy fingers. The glass was smeared, opaque for unknown reasons, and the air carried a heavy odor that made her stomach churn decay, maybe. Mia reached for the door, but before she could touch it, the shadows spilled forth behind them, pouring from the trees like a living nightmare. A chorus of whispers swelled, overwhelming her senses. Let us in," Jake's grip tightened on her arm. "Mom!" he shrieked. With a surge of desperation, Mia flung the door open, the rusty hinges screaming in protest as they stumbled inside, the world outside blotting into a dismal blur. Inside, darkness swallowed them whole, the dim light barely illuminating the shelves of expired products and dust-laden tools. And then, as her heart raced, she heard it, a soft, rhythmic tapping. An unsettling sound, like fingers drumming against a hard surface. "Hello? Is anyone here?" she croaked, her voice breaking the eerie silence. The tapping stopped. Mia's pulse quickened as she pulled Jake down behind a counter, trying to stifle her breaths and hide from whatever waited. The only sounds now were the muffled thumps of her heart and Jake's soft whimpers. Even as dread consumed her, their surroundings whispered secrets of horror long past, a memory of anguished cries lingering in the corners. Something felt terribly wrong, as if they had stumbled into a trap where hope had long since been extinguished. But then came a voice, low and rasping, creeping through the air and shuddering against her spine. "You shouldn't have come here." Mia's breath hitched. Who was there? What were they facing? The shadows at the door shifted, threatening to consume them once more. The whispers grew louder, a mantra that promised not just fate, but a horrifying choice. And in that moment, as darkness drew closer, Mia wondered, did she truly have an escape? Was the gas station a sanctuary or a snare? Next chapter, she might find out how the past intertwined with this nightmarish presence. Would she be strong enough to uncover the truth or become another ghost of the forgotten gas station? Mia clutched Jake's hand, her heart pounding faster than ever, pulsing with the unyielding fear that gnawed at her guts. The shadows swirled, hardening into shapes that whispered promises threaded with anguish. She was no longer just fleeing. They had stepped deeper into the dark history the gas station encased, and Mia's instinct screamed that this was not merely a hellish pit stop but a sanctuary for lost souls, a trap designed to ensnare those who dared to glimpse the horrors within. "Stay low," she whispered urgently, pulling him further beneath the counter, the rusted metal cutting against her skin. They huddled together, breaths synchronized, the tension thick like smog. The rhythmic tapping returned, an impatient metronome counting down their moments of survival. The voice, that shuddering, rasping whisper, sounded again, a slithering sound that crawled over her skin like 1,000 insects. "You shouldn't have come here," it breathed, chilling her to her core. Mia felt Jake tense up beside her, his little body shaking against her side, those innocent eyes wide with fear. "Mom, what do we do?" he whimpered, his voice small and frightened. "Just hold on to me," she replied, struggling to keep her voice steady. "We'll get out of here." But she was losing hope. Shadows shifted around them, crawling closer, fingertips teasing the edges of their hiding spot. Jake squeezed her hand tighter, a desperate grip laden with trust, and Mia's heart ached. They had come to find freedom, not to be swallowed by darkness. In silent defiance, she steeled herself, the fire of a mother's love flaring brighter against the encroaching dread. "Come out. Show yourself," she shouted, her voice ringing clear against the oppressive silence. The quiet thickened, the air crackling with anxiety. "Very well, brave one," the voice cooed, dripping with contempt. Mia gathered Jake in closer, her breath hitching as shadows coalesced before them. A figure emerged, wreathed in vaporous darkness, gliding with an eerie grace. It was the woman from before, her eyes like twin voids, absorbing all light. "You seek to escape. Yet here you are, drawn to the darkness by your own need." "Need?" Mia echoed, confusion mixing with anger. "We're not like you. We want to be trapped." "Trapped?" The figure chuckled, a sweet, hollow sound that sent shivers racing down Mia's spine. "This place protects the lost. It cradles them." Mia clenched her jaw, rallying against despair. "What do you want from us?" "Your willingness, of course. To join, to become part of this haunting legacy," the figure murmured, stretching a delicate hand toward Jake. "Your son possesses potential, a beacon for the willing." Jake recoiled, hiding behind Mia's leg, terror radiating from him. "Mom!" he cried, clutching tightly to her like a lifeline. No promises, no bargaining would pull her son into this darkness. "Leave him alone," she yelled, her voice laced with fierce maternal protectiveness. She felt a surge of defiance against the figure as shadows pulsed, momentarily faltering. They locked eyes, a standoff willed by Mia's desperation. "He is innocent, untouched by the darkness." The figure's laughter returned, reverberating off the walls, mocking. "Innocent, yes, but innocence is a fleeting treasure in a world like this." Each word was a taunt that frayed Mia's resolve. Jake whimpered louder, pulling restlessly, losing confidence in his mother. "Make it go away." Mia turned, meeting his scared gaze, and something shifted within her, this moment rippled with greater purpose. "Jake, listen to me. Whatever happens, no matter what you hear or see, just hold on to me. I won't let go. We can fight this, together." As if in response, the shadows recoiled, a growing surge of energy vibrating in the air. The figure's face twisted, anger flashing through those void-like eyes. "You think your defiance makes you strong? This place thrives on the fabric of fear and despair." "No!" Mia shouted back, clenching the keychain in her grip, the cold metal grounding her. "I know what you are. I see what you've done." She straightened, her voice rising. "You can't own us. We're not part of your collection." The walls trembled, the shadows seemed to writhe in outrage. "Foolish girl. You are too late. The darkness already resides within you." That was it. The last tether of hope ignited in her chest. "Jake, now!" she shouted, and together they bolted from behind the counter, determination driving them toward the exit. They had to escape while they still could. Outside, the cool night air met them like a welcoming embrace as they stumbled onto the cracked pavement. The gas station loomed behind them, pulsating with malicious intent, but Mia didn't look back. "Not this time. Run towards the light," she urged, grabbing Jake's hand and pulling him along. They dashed away, adrenaline thrumming through their veins, heartbeats racing as fingers of darkness reached out, desperate to reclaim their lost prey. Just as they reached the edge of the clearing, a blinding light erupted from the horizon, a welcoming glow that promised safety and hope. Together, they sprinted toward it, breathless and filled with a wild hope. But just as they crossed the threshold, a scream tore from behind them, a deafening cacophony of shadows rising in fury. You cannot escape. Mia felt the world shift beneath her feet, then everything fell into a whirlpool of blinding light, shadows shrinking away, suffocated by the radiance. They tumbled onto the solid ground beyond, gasping for air, hearts pounding with panic and relief. As she looked back, the gas station stood still and mute, a monument of dread receding into the night, and Mia clutched Jake tightly, knowing they had slipped through fate's clenching fingers. They had survived. I don't want to go back there, Mom, Jake whimpered, pulling her closer, and she felt every tremor of fear, every lingering shadow that chased them. Neither do I, she murmured, kneeling to hold him tightly in her arms. But we're safe now, Jake. We're free. As they began walking away under the blanket of stars, a chilling promise lingered in the air. Somewhere, the gas station remained, chewing on lost dreams and whispering of hauntings yet to come. But they were not its captives anymore. Promise? Jake's small voice broke the silence, and Mia smiled down at him through the tears. I promise. And with that, they moved forward together, leaving the whispers behind into a dawn awash with vibrant hues of life, a new beginning unfurling before them. As they ventured into the unknown, Mia knew one thing: fear no longer dictated their path. And that, after all they had endured, felt like the sweetest victory of all. If you're still with us, it's your turn to jump into the conversation. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this heart-stopping conclusion. And share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see Mia and Jake's incredible journey. Don't wait even one more second. Only true fans understand how crucial your support is to keep these stories alive.